Okay, this is Andy Lee Graham, and I've traveled nonstop for 25 years and in 114 countries. I'm here in Lake Atalan, Guatemala, and I'm in the city of San Pedro, and it's one of the absolutely perfect climates on the planet. It's one of the most beautiful lakes on the planet, but I'm sure there's probably mountain, up in the mountains, beautiful lakes that are just spectacular and probably more beautiful here. But this one has people where you can live alongside the lake. Aldous Huxley called it one of the most beautiful lakes on the planet. Maybe Che Guevara was here also. But I agree that it is by far one of the most wows on the planet. Okay, but I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I've basically lived in 114 countries. But 25 years ago, when I first started traveling, the travelers were a lot smarter. I can't believe this. I was sitting there going, why was it so much different 25 years ago? Well, 25 years ago, a backpacker would save up about, say five to $15,000, and then they go travel until they ran out of money. So they normally went for about 6 months to 12 months. So everybody I met 25 years ago was traveling for, I don't know, almost, they would be traveling at minimum 3 months, okay? And, there was a lot of Australians here when I first came in. I almost never see an Australian anymore. I see a lot of Americans, so still some Germans, maybe a few French, but a ton of Israel. Now, the Israelis still go out backpacking, and I think they go out for, a journey around the planet where they go to Thailand, Brazil. They do, they're still backpackers. They're pretty smart, though. But the travelers were very smart back then because you had to save up $10,000. You had to figure out how to go around the planet. They would go to, say, 20 to 50 countries, right? And they would travel nonstop and go country, 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 country. And they'd have to always be finding it. It took a lot of chutzpah. Okay, they were really, to me, about a 20 IQ point jump above the travelers today. The tourists have always been about the same. They're kind of just putting in their time, but we didn't have that many tourists here 25 years ago. This whole city had about 100 schools of Spanish. Everywhere you went through Central and South America, all I met was young people, right? But I started out about age 42. I figured this all out today because I didn't really care, but I decided to figure it out. But 25 years ago, the travel was smarter, and that was really invigorating when you sit around in the traveler's huddle and you talk to a bunch of highly intelligent people that were very good at strategies. Right now, their strategy is they don't have any. Okay. But the tourists, okay, so right now I would say they were about 125 IQ, and right now it's about 101. Okay. I say that because Indiana is 101 and supposedly California is 85, right? But this is one thing that's very important to understand when you travel. I am richer, even at me only getting $550 in Social Security a month, netting out $450. I am richer than 90% of the people in Guatemala. This is a big deal. I am richer than almost any people I meet in the 200 normal countries. It's only in the overdeveloped countries like Western Europe, Australia, you know, the United States, Canada, Japan, South Korea. These are the rich countries. But most places I am incredibly rich. And a lot of people will not admit or cannot empathize at how rich they are compared to the locals. But right now, all it requires to travel the world and go to all the countries is about $750 a month. So I'm actually lacking about 450. I need another 300. So yeah, $350. Okay. But I didn't put it up there. I've got a link here. I'm also going live at the same time, and I will put the link here to what I'm reading from, kind of a teleprompter notes into the thing. But I go live about every day at let's see, it's 9 o'clock, I think, Eastern Standard Time, U.S. time. and I just like to ramble away. It's kind of fun, and I'm always baiting to find friends. Um, it's called Budget to Lose Friends. What is the cheapest I can live? I'm going to put this link inside the in the description that you're watching right now in the recorded version. On the live ones, I basically delete these right after I'm finished. I don't really like to try to make these live things. They're kind of they're full of problems. Okay, the comments are always a problem. I only have a desire to talk to people with real names. Okay, so this is what's interesting. This link I just put in there. I have a link that'll be in the Google Docs that I'll put in the description. Has a list of the GDP, PPP per capita. They say that the average person in Guatemala makes $10,595 a year. Guess what? Bullshit. They're not even very good at having addresses on buildings, halfway knowing how much people make. I would say the average people are making roughly maybe $5,000 a year maximum. And then you have the super rich, that if you average this out, we have incredibly super rich in Guatemala. Every country's got the super rich, and they make money from all the poor money. A lot of times they're going to give the average of this thing, right? It's no good. You need to know really how much a person, like I was saying 10,500, that's horseshit, okay? I was talking to Samuel. I got this thing made here out of wood, and he said he paid his workers about 300 quetzals a week for skilled labor to work as a woodworker. And that's only about $40. So that'd be only about, I don't know, maybe $200 a month or something like that. Well, yeah, $200 a month. 300 be 40. Say it's 50. Yeah, it'd be $200 a month. It's nothing close. 200 times 12 is what, it's not that much, right? They don't have an address. They don't pay taxes. And there's a race to the bottom and there's a race to the top. Countries want to inflate their wages so that everybody thinks that they earn a lot of money, and they give a lot of money for hotels and things like that. And then there's a race to the bottom, like Sierra Leone, Niger, Africa, Burkina Faso. They want all the things, like Gaza Strip. Gaza Strip is a race to the bottom so that they can get all these donations from these ever so silly aid organizations. The shirt I'm having made, I had a white shirt. The guy charges about 100 Qs, so that's about $12, and you can maybe do 3 shirts a day, so that would be about $36 a day. And he's a highly skilled sewing person, right? But the countries lie. It's amazing. At the end of what I'm doing today, I'm going to read a thing of because everything of what I'm talking about is wrapped up into the idea of having a good life. And I'm going to read the 21 Keys to a Happy Life. My friend Jeff sent this to me, and it's really very accurate. And I think everybody should take a pause, a cesar in the music, and stop and say, how do I qualify for these 20 things? 21 things. Okay. Number 4 is, and this is what I'm talking about, is number 4 on this list of 21 is to live beneath your means. That means if you do it. So I just went from being, about 3 years ago, I was really doing real good. And now I'm going to the point where I'm losing about $150 a month. I'm going in the hole. So I'm actually cannot hardly afford to live. I'm going to have to find, and one of the things that happened yesterday, I went and checked my bank account and I said, hey, I only got 3 months before I'm completely broke. And I have to lower my expenses or increase my income. It's the way it goes, right? But I shut down a business, which I considered my future. And now I'm living really on $450 a month. Now, don't get me wrong. I have great family and they're not going to let me starve. How do you starve in this planet? 63% of the Americans do not live within their means. I mean, almost technically, probably 50% of the people inside the United States are almost bankrupt. I mean, the only way they're not bankrupt is if their employer sets apart a retirement plan or they somehow pay off a house. If they're only renting, they're I actually believe that there's going to be a mass migration from the East and West Coast because anybody retiring on $2,000 a month on the East and West Coast do not have enough money to retire. So they have to go abroad. And they haven't got the waivers to move to Indiana or Ohio or one of the regional places. They're going to want to go retire abroad because it's a social status problem. And these guys are going to get in big trouble abroad too. It's amazing. Please, I beg you, I'm really tired. Please do not prove to me you're stupid. I really want to be able to look the other way and not have you tell me all these silly things you do, okay? I really can't take it anymore. But I aspire to inspire you to become an expert. I want everybody on the planet to be an expert. Why? If you're a mastery of something, your self-esteem is higher. I'm a master in real estate. I'm a master in internet page management. I had a business I lived from for 23 years and 10 months. It wasn't a failure. I just closed it because of it was a it supported me for 23 years. About 8 of those years I made about what is it? About $3,000 a month for about 8 years. I blew it all thinking that my business never went smaller. Pretty funny. But I didn't. I got a link in here for Patreon. But what's interesting, and this is the fun part about being a value traveler or living in a budget, is the cheaper I travel, the stupider people think I am. And I love it. Why? Because if you're going to negotiate with people, you got to let them think you're stupid. This is what Robert Greene guy's got, the 48 rules of power. And he's absolutely genius in coming up with how to understand the mentality of people. Okay. But he's talking about the 48 rules of power. I'm just trying to, if you want power over somebody, you got to let them be stupid. You got to pretend you're stupid, be stupid, do something that appears stupid at first sight. And then they will think they're powerful. And then they don't negotiate well. I love this. It tells me just how stupid people are. I think of House on House MD, the TV show, or Elementary all the time. House always was calling these people stupid. And I sometimes, right now, I'm very grateful that I don't have any members because I can say, how could they be so freaking stupid? I don't want to talk to stupid people. Okay, I want to talk to the people that I talked to for 25 years ago when I fell in love with travel. I want them back. Where did they go to? They are gone. Okay, now we have these people that are walking around with their smartphone and they won't even say hi to you. Everybody said hi to everybody 25 years ago. But a smart person's brave enough, somebody that's very good at something. If I make you an expert at something, you become an expert because you say, I'm going to be an expert at coffee. I'm going to be an expert at making pancakes. I'm going to be an expert at acupuncture. I'm going to be an expert at writing a book. I'm an expert at many things. Okay. I've written 5 books. Okay. I'm pretty good at writing books. That doesn't mean the books are great books. I'm trying to write my perfect book right now about Henry David Thoreau. But guess what? Guatemalans are extremely happy. But people that are very stupid, they have a little empathy. They can't even be happy with themselves. They basically are right now, what's interesting, the white people in the United States are racist against their own color. It's pretty funny. And then the black people are racist against the white. And you got all these crazy things that happen in the highly developed countries. Well, you got countries like Guatemala, Togo, Thailand, where everybody's just happy to be themselves and they don't really get fussed up over all this stuff. And the Guatemalans are only working about 4 hours a day for the most part. They barely, like I just talked with the owner here, he's not busy. Misha, his wife, is not busy. It's a very leisure business, right? Maybe, they come out, right? But the dumb ones here, the ones that want to be like part of the gringo culture. They go work 10 or 14 hours a day to earn, $8, $10, $20 a day, right? Really stupid. Togolese people are happier than Guatemalan people. I had a guy, they had a thing where a guy sent me a thing that Togolese people are considered some of the most miserable people in Africa. And I said, no, I think they're probably smart. Somebody called them up on the phone and they instantly knew that they had an NGO on the phone, so they played poor. Because if you play poor, you get money. If you act like you're rich, they're not going to give you money. Togolese people are really wise when some foolish NGO comes up in a white Land Rover, $70,000 car, and they're acting like they're going to help them. They got to play poor because they're going to give them stuff. And that's what aid organizations do. They give away free things. This is why Gaza is in trouble right now. They've been on the tip for the 50 years. They still have a refugee camp. 50 years. But money makes people stupid and unhappy. Money makes people stupid and happy. People that live within their means and basically spend money on what is necessary instead of trying to entertain themselves with superfluous expenses. Henry David Thoreau was all about this. He said, basically, you can work 5 weeks a year if you only buy necessities. And I have been living for 25 years, working about 2 to 3 hours a day. But I only try to buy necessities. But how do I do that? I only have a backpack. I can't buy all this crazy stuff, right? It's pretty funny sometimes. But my money now, I'm going to explain my money situation now. For about 8 years, I earned about $300 a month, and it was a life of leisure. I flew all over the place, and I basically just spent it all. I used to earn about $1,000 to $1,500 per month from YouTube. But YouTube now has sucked they probably used to be they'd give me about 25 cents a click. Now I think they give me less than a half penny. I really don't know. But I get about $40 a month from the advertisement on YouTube. And even if I don't monetize the page, they will, if it starts getting a lot of traffic, they will monetize, and they probably make the advertisers pay 50 cents, $100 a click, okay? And if I do it, they pay me a penny a click. Pretty funny. But I have $450 net per month. And one of the gentlemen on the, I think it's a gentleman, asked on the thing when it started. It's about 5 years ago. I started when I was, I guess, 63, I think. And then I started Medicare, I think, when I was 65. I don't really pay. I'm not very good at remembering these things. My brain don't work that way. And then I try to earn about $100 to $300 in miscellaneous money. And I had realized yesterday that I was getting quite a bit. When I went live again, I got quite a few, couple $100 in super chats. Now I get about zero. Okay, but everybody was generous. I was new. I was back on live, going live. I didn't want to go live when I had the business because then they wouldn't get on the social network. So now I have no reason to not develop my channel. Oh, we got this thing that says ads popping up. I always try to click that thing. So stop it. It's not going to make me any money, guys. Most expats are on some sort of real money. And I will always caution you. Hey, Jose. I will always caution you. If you see somebody under 65, try to understand how they have money. Why? I mean, you always follow the money, okay? Because if a guy's 23 years old and he's traveling and he's just hanging out, there's some nefarious things going on a lot of times. A lot of these guys, probably a lot of the people are working for aid organizations, which are basically taking money from nice people and living high on the hog. Those are kind of closed right now with COVID-19. That's a great thing about COVID is most of the aid organizations are just gone, which is wonderful because they just suck money from naive people. But expats are often on Social Security disability. And they're on some sort of, or maybe they're a remittance man where their father, mother hate them and they'll give them money monthly just so they don't come back because they're such a, loser. They're on drugs and high. I actually got paid $500 to make this man free from his son. he basically said, take my son. I'm going to give him about, $800 a month and show him how to live in Guatemala. Well, first day here, he got his phone robbed. I was like, I moved him into a hotel and I tried to get him to go slow, but he was just a radically like a hyper kid, and he wanted to hang around with the bums. And I said to his father, he says, I don't care what happens, just show him that he can live on this amount of money. I will automatically put this in an account. If he goes broke, it's his problem. Because the father was tired of taking care of his son. But these are called, Jimmy Buffett had a song called Remittance Man. A remittance man, this is something that happened in the nobility classes. They'd send their children all around the world so they wouldn't have to embarrass them, right? A remittance man. It's a fun thing to learn. But if you can live on nothing, if you can live on the least amount of money, then living on too much is easy. And that's why I'm always talking about the lowest amount of money, because I'm not helping you if I tell you that you can live on $2,000 a month. One man asked me, where can I live for $1,000 a month? I said, take out a dart, get a map of the world and throw it. It's easy. And there's a thing called averaging where you can live here for, say, $600, $500, and then you can save $400 a month for 3 months. And then you can go to Europe and spend $1,500, right? Averaging. This is very hard for people to do because most people spend every penny they get. They live paycheck to paycheck. But I don't really care to inspire the rich to be stupid. I hate to say it, but the rich want to brag about how much money. People that are not the rich, the wannabe rich are always trying to spend big. The really rich are easy to deal with. Okay, like the Elon Musk and the people in my city of Fort Wayne that were very, very wealthy were some of the easiest people to talk to. The wannabe rich are always trying to put on airs and try to do stuff. Can't stand them. I don't know what to do with them. They're pretentious people being pretentious. But what have I learned as a traveler? These are things if you can't overhaul a car motor, if you can't take a car motor and overhaul it, I don't know what to do with you. If you can't put a screen on your window, I don't know what to do with you. If you can't I show this over and over how to put mosquito netting on the windows, and I'm invariably watching gringos getting bit by mosquitoes and they got their door open, it's amazing. It's just like, all you got to do is take some box tape and tape a piece of this on your window, and they can't get it done. If you can't get a business card and you're not capable of getting a business card, I don't know what to do. I mean, do you need a mom? Do you need a father? These are the simplest things on the planet. And people cannot do the simplest thing. They have been taken care of for so long that they need to grow up. If you don't care to change your address, okay. Often I think people are wimps that can't get this stuff done. They don't have the vigilance, they're not capable of extending. Why do you need this? You meet one of your friends and you want to quickly make friends and you make contacts all around the planet. Don't get me wrong, only about 1 in 10 of these people right now are capable of communicating. It's pretty sad, okay? But when I first started traveling, I would exchange email addresses. And one way I weigh the value of friendship is how many, if I can write emails to them. And so, like in Togo, at any given time, I have about 10 people trying to communicate with me from that country. When I leave Guatemala, I don't have any Guatemalans trying to communicate with me. They're not reaching out that way. The Togo people are smarter. I have a few, cherry pick. I got people in Norway. I got like 1 or 2, 3 people in each country I go to that I continue to communicate. But most anymore can't even answer their email. But 25 years ago in 114 countries, when I started traveling, the backpackers were very, very smart. We always would sit around because we needed each other. And they had the Lonely Planet and the Rough Guide and the Footprints, and they had all these guidebooks. But better yet, we talked and discussed how to find the next hotel in the next city. I believe right now the average backpacker is just a entitled youth. Okay, they're pretty funny because I really enjoy them because everybody says it's just money, it's just no big deal. It's no big deal because you're going home. Okay, when somebody tells me that it's no big deal, I have the money or whatever, I go, guess what? You're gonna have to return to the USA to work. Uh, Very few people have any kind of life experience. But if you can't overhaul, I'm going to put an advertisement in, Craigslist or something. Wanted girl that can overhaul, a gas motor. My Thai girlfriend one time tore apart the electrical plug and fixed it, and made it so it was thinking. I was like, yeah, go guy, go Kai. It means little hand, Kai in Thai. But 63% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover a $500 emergency. 63%. This is in Forbes. I got the link here in that link that I'm going to have in the thing. But 63% cannot come up with the cash. That means everything's credit. Like when I see somebody using only credit cards here, I realize they haven't been able to adapt. They don't understand that credit cards are kind of dangerous to use abroad. And some people, of course, are living in places that they have no choice. The minute that you get on a place that's like $80 a night, you have to use a credit card. But they live from temptation to temptation, and they basically they're going back to work, so it don't really matter, right? I mean, they're using their credit card. Everything they're doing, they are not having a nice life. They are tied to their jobs. What's also I learned is men will do anything for a woman that gives them sex. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, people marry prostitutes. Guys, if a girl from Thailand is married to a guy, I almost assume that he married a prostitute. Because my Thai girlfriend wouldn't even tell her parents that she existed. She was afraid her mother would disown her. I mean, I had a nice girl from Thailand for about 5 years as my girlfriend. It was horrible though because she hated Falang. She was anti-foreigner. She looked at all Americans, Germans, French as slime balls. And I go, you really hate my culture, right? You hate my species, right? But men will do anything for sex. Once they find a girl that has sex with them, they're happy, especially the ones over, say, 25. When they get over 35, it's really ridiculous. When they get over 40, any girl that has sex with them is fine. So they will marry a person really quick. They're not very picky. That's really strange. But men do not care about women's anything moral. They don't care about their morals. Whatever. It's kind of weird. But when I first started traveling, YouTube did not exist. I had to buy a connection to use the internet. Or I walked into an internet cafe and had a little 3.5-inch floppy that I did there, and I had these programs that uploaded and downloaded things. Facebook did not exist. Nobody carried a computer. I carried a computer because I always, after I started using a laptop computer, I have not been with one for things because it's to me the fountain of knowledge. Okay, a laptop is the conduit to have knowledge. But I've always carried a computer. Now I'm carrying two. But right now I'm going to give another. This is an advertisement for Jose. This is purely gratis. He's been a really good guy. He's got organic coffee. These are beans, and this is ground coffee. And I'm in a place called Solar Pools. Thank you for letting me sit here and make noise. Gracias para ayudarme. Okay, but in the end, why do people spend large? Demonstration of higher value, right? DHV. The only way you're going to get a girl is to prove that you can support her. And in this day, in this life, you don't need to do it anymore, okay? And you got about a 50% chance they're going to ditch you anyway from the overdeveloped countries. One reason to marry one of these people in these poorer countries is they're going to make them one of the richest person in the village, right? When I first started traveling in March of 1998, I started traveling in March 1st of 1998. Okay, so it's, I was 42 years old and 4 months of age. 42 years old, I started. I'm now 65 plus. Okay. And so I've been traveling for 25 years. Mom Graham, some of you know her, demanded it was 41 years. No, wait a minute. She demanded that I was 41 years old and that I've been traveling for 26 years. She always would say, Andy, you've been traveling. I said, I'm going to err on the side of less. I didn't really start traveling. I didn't go leave and start traveling. And I stayed out like 1 year, then 2 years, and I came back. My father was alive, but who cares how long I've been traveling? Nobody does. Nobody. It's not a social status thing. People do not care that I've been into 114 countries. They don't even see. They will come to a country and they'll tell me how hard it was to go through the airport, go through the customs, how to get their stamp, their visas and everything. And I say I've been to 114, and they don't compute that I've crossed at least, I don't know, probably 350 borders. I mean, I've gone crossed, you go back and forth, back and forth. I went through about 3 passports. But I don't care about money. Money has no value. Experience has value. Money is something as a tool to help me have experiences. So I use money for experiences to buy experience and to have different things that I care about. But I also want to become experts at things like right now I'm working on becoming an expert at designing tiny houses. I got a lot of Pinterest. I collect things by foundation, roof, water, sewer, different aspects of things. I have a Pinterest site. I love Pinterest. I would not travel. If I cared about you, I wouldn't travel. I'm going to read this again. I don't care about you. I care about the experience. I don't care about the money. I'm a traveler. I'm first and foremost a traveler. I don't care about you. I don't care. I started my newsletter and everything so I could make money, so I could continue to do what I wanted to do, was travel and meet intelligent people. Now, sadly, it's only 1 in 50, 1 in 100 now that have any brains. When I first started traveling, it was about, say 1 in 5. 1 in 5 are just brilliant people. Now it's only 100 because everybody can travel and everybody thinks they can travel, but they're doing it in the most ridiculous ways. But I don't care about you. Why would I care about you? I don't know you. That's the reason why people are amazed on when I go live. I'm supposed to care about an anonymous person. That has to be the most insane thing I could possibly do. To care about an anonymous person that really has the ability to say anything and do anything and be a complete wanker, okay? And they do. And then they want me to think. But I understand, because in a way, in business, they say the client is always right. But you're not a client unless you give me your full name and your real person. And I'm going to start hopefully getting enough people on these things. We're up to 34 right now live. Then I can whack anybody that's not using their real name. And I will have great joy in doing it. But I would not travel if I really cared about you, because most of you guys don't like the fact that I go cheap. If you want to brag about something, they brag about their Airbnb and they paid $2,000 a month. And I go, you're bragging about being stupid again. Superfluous money. Henry David Thoreau really rattled about this in his book Walden, in the chapter Economy. Why are people in such desperate haste to succeed in desperate enterprises? It's ridiculous. Forbes.com, 63% of Americans don't have enough money to cover a $500 emergency. I'm going to keep repeating that. People are proud when they spend money. It's amazing. When I first started, nobody was proud of spending large money. They were very much living within their means. I'm going to read the 23 keys to happiness at the end of this. No, 22. I think I added one. People are proud when they spend money. They make the absolutely silliest deals, and I'm supposed to sit there and listen to them. I'm going, you want me to be proud of you for being, you know, inconsiderate of your own money, as if money has no end. Most people, if they lost their job at age 45, they could be bankrupt in less than 6 months. But the only way they can prove they're smart is by buying something, and that doesn't prove you're smart. Buying something or paying large proves you're not. It just means you know how to spend money and you use your plastic. When people use their plastic in a foreign country, I always assume that they're not capable of watching their money. They haven't really adjusted from one culture to another culture. This is one of the biggest problems for travelers. They live with the same set of value systems as the country they came from, and then they go apply. So like if they tip big in the United States, they tip here. They don't tip in most of the world. I mean, I always, of course the travel industry tries to push tipping. Why? Because silly enough, Americans are coming. Americans, the Germans get really angry at the Americans because they come in and they spend 20% higher than they do. But money, when you spend a large amount of money, what it proves to me is that you're working, okay? It proves that you worked for 30 years. Is that really the meaning of your life? That you worked for 30 years? And for most of you, it is. You are defined by what you did every day at work. Your boss defined you. And I really would rather have you defined by your wife and your children and the family that you live in, okay? And that's what Guatemalans are. They basically a family. I'm in a hotel. Oh, no, not a hotel. It's there's an apartment here for $350. It's really good. But they're defined by their families. This is a family-run business. And that's much better than what we do in the United States, where everybody goes their own way and screw their family and parents. When you have a lot of money, I know that you obeyed the boss for 30 years. Hey, you've been sucking on it for 30 years and you're going to be proud of it. You're part of the machine. I don't want people to live their life desperate. The boss convinced you to work 40 hours a week. Most of these countries, these people just kind of put in their time. They sit around, gab away, talk, whatever. I've only worked about 2 or 3 hours a day, which is why I'm writing a book about Henry David Thoreau, because he said I only worked for the 5 years, I only worked about 6 weeks a year. And he wrote this in the chapter of Economy on Walden. But I accidentally kind of proved the same thing, that I could kind of make money from the highly developed countries and live in the cheap countries. But what is the cheapest I can live? Now this is really interesting. You can almost always go cheaper and have a better quality of life. But people call me cheap. The biggest insult you can insult anybody is like call somebody a cheap Charlie. Anywhere you go, the prostitutes will call everybody cheap. It's really kind of funny. When somebody calls me cheap or somebody says, Andy, I don't live like you, I think, oh, you're so freaking stupid that you don't even have a clue. I started on March 1st, 1998. I've been out 9,415 days. 1/3 of my life has been traveling. And everybody wants to tell me how to travel. I have lived as a traveler for 1/3 of my life. 38% of my life has been traveling. That's the exact percentage. 40%, if we round it up, of my life has been living and what most people are afraid to do. I'm today 24,896 calendar days old. Today is Sunday, the 10th of December, 2023. But if I spent, on average, $30 a day in the last 25 years of my travel, I've spent $282,000, $450. $450,000. I'm a backpacker. When anybody complains about backpackers not spending, I sit there, these guys 20 years ago, they would spend $10,000, $15,000. And they would say, oh, the backpackers are cheap. And I go, you're just dumb. You spent $3,000, $4,000 in 1 month. And they lived traveling on vacation for a year and a half on $10,000. I started on March 1st. It'll be 26 years of travel in March of 2024. People by and large avoid people who live cheap. That's a great way to get rid of the tourists. Tourists want to go on a 2-week, prove myself, and they're going to go on their credit card and they're going to be a 2-week millionaire and they're going to live the life of luxury. Then they're going to go back and be wage slaves. Okay. But I like to tell people I have money. Even when I had a lot of money for about 8 years, I lived the same. Okay, I lived in the same rooms. Okay, what I spent most of my money on was airfare. I spent a lot of money on airfare. But if you can live on nothing, then living on too much money is a piece of cake. And that's the goal. That's the strategy. Figure out how to live on your necessities. Spend only the money on necessities. Life's going to be it. What's the cheapest I can live? I can always go to Togo. They got rooms in Togo or West Africa, probably about, well, even here in Guatemala. I lived in a hotel, in a room over in Piana that was about 500 Q a month, so about $80 a month. I had a room for $75 for a long time. I can get a room here if I wanted to for $50 a month. You know, it takes a lot of work to find this, but they're all over the place. In Togo, there's a room I stayed in for $7 a month. Okay, it was a great place too. A little hot in the afternoon because of the steel roofs, but $7 a month. You can get if you go to this link I got this GDP, whatever, you can see that there's a lot of countries where they're right around below $3,000 a year. Okay, it's only the highly developed countries where they spend so much money. They spend their whole life working. Right, they're defined by their work. Did you know that 30% of the world doesn't even have electricity? 30%. About 50% earn less than 25. 50% of the population, about 4 billion people, 3.5 billion people earn less than $25 a day. Be appreciative of what you have and thank the good guys. But if you're dumb, you spend more money than you have and you need. And then you got to always figure out if you're technically bankrupt. Okay. People that only rent can easily go bankrupt. The best thing that you can do in life, if anything I really want my nieces, nephews, and all these wage slaves to do, get a very good job, work at it for 30 years, buy one house and pay it off. And no matter how stupid you are, you'll be okay. And hope that you make more money in a week than you can spend on the weekend. And a lot of people, like 63%, can spend more on the weekend than they live paycheck to paycheck. But we're going to have a depression, we're going to have a recession, and everybody's going to go broke soon. Spend the money more than you need. I have trouble being your friend if you spend more money than you need to spend. If you are spending, I just was really upset with one gentleman because he's paying $1,000 more than he needs to spend, and I don't think he sees that I consider him stupid. Okay, I go, hey guy, this is stupid to just drop an extra $1,000, as if money grows on trees. But life is good when people live within their needs. Now I'm going to read the 21 keys to the happy life. And a lot of you that have been watching my videos are going to be able to see that some of my friend Jeff, I won't say his last name, he's one of my best friends. If I ever get married, he'll be in my wedding. you'll be like the best man. He sent this to me, and he works in a bank. He's, paid $18,000 in taxes. Hey, these are the 21 keys to a happy life. Compliment 3 people every day. I do at least 10. I'm always calling the older women senorita. Okay. Watch a sunrise. I wake up at 3 in the morning, and I walked out today at 6:30. The sun comes up here right about 6:15. You can always search on Google for sunrise, Lake Atalan, whatever. What time sunrise? So you can say this, and Google will give you the answer. Sunsets too. Be the first to say hello. Now this is a big one with me because I say hello to absolutely everybody. Even these women that think that they're special when they're really just a tattooed babe, right? You're going, your butt's already big and you're only 21. Okay. But I say hello to everybody because I'm always fishing for friends. But I cannot become friends with a person that doesn't use their real name. It's really important to understand it. First things first, you want to have a relationship with anybody, you better be willing to say your full name with me, or I'm not going to even talk to you. I've learned this after 25 years that there's so many people that are ashamed of who they are, that they wear the sunglasses, or they're covered up, they basically don't even give me eye contact. They are such wimps that why would I want to be their friend? Number 4, live with it beneath your means. Beneath your means. And this is what I've been talking about today. Anybody that gets in financial trouble. I am right now suffering the consequences of COVID-19 shutting down my business. So what should I have done? I don't know. Maybe I should have worked at a job longer. If I would have worked as a wage slave for 10 years, I would probably be collecting, say $1,200 in Social Security. But we suffer for our consequences, right? Treat everyone as you wanted to be treated. I want somebody to tell me when I'm being a jerk. But they got to be careful. I'm very good at erasing people. Never give up on anybody. Miracles happen. I'm going to say that again. Never give up on anybody. Everybody I talk to has an ability to change your life. And sometimes all they got to do is hear the right thing, and then it'll change their life. So always be patient with people. Try to get them to tell their good story. Get them to tell you what they're in love with doing, what things they feel they are very good at, and you can become a good friend with them. Forget the Joneses. This is why I told you I don't give a fuck about you guys. I don't care what you think of me. Why? Because I like me first and you second. Okay, if I'm going to make a bunch of anonymous people on the internet happy by getting likes on a channel or getting comments from people I don't know, that's insane. That's why I don't have the comments on. Why would I want to read a bunch of people's comments that I don't know? If I can only have my best friends making comments, I would do it. And even YouTube, Facebook don't work that way. My sister said, you made a post on Facebook. I said, Candy, I'm not even friends with you on Facebook. And it's probably some fake, they make these fake profiles. My mom tries to friend me all the time on Facebook. Remember someone's name. This is highly important. Number 8. And how do I remember someone's name? First of all, I got a card that I give them my name. So that makes it real easy for them. When they give me their name, I go to my little Google Keeps and I type in their name and I give a magnetic cue. If a person doesn't even try to learn a person's name, I know they don't care about people. People say they want to learn Spanish, but they don't even try to learn a word. They don't even have Google Translate on their phone. And they're saying, oh, I'm studying Spanish. I said, you're not studying Spanish, you're masturbating, okay? You're playing games. But remember people's names. It's the start of a relationship. That's why I despise these short names, right? Because if they don't have the real name, we don't even have the beginning point, right? We don't have a benchmark. Pray not for things. Pray not for things. Don't pray to win the lottery, but for wisdom and courage. Number 9, pray not for things. When I pray to the good gods, I say, Do what you think's best. Because that's wisdom, right? Do what you think is best, not my will, your will. Okay. Be tough minded, but tender hearted. I'm actually very nice to people. I especially am nice to extremely, I don't know, the people that have a lot of problems in life. But I'm extremely tough minded also. I don't put up with crap. Got a little, there must be a reflection somehow getting on my face. Be tough minded. Number 11, be kinder than you have to be. That means say hello to everybody. If you won't say hello to everybody, you're going to have an unhappy life. Anybody that's really wealthy normally is a oozing with charisma. I know many of you have never met the super rich, like people worth $30 million. But the people that are self-made people that earned it as a entrepreneur and made it, they're a very charismatic person. Like the person Jose that is basically I'm trying to help him sell his organic coffee. We're at solar pools. Be kinder than you have to be. Number 12. Don't forget that a person's greatest emotional need is to feel appreciated. And I have this all the time. People get radically angry because I don't appreciate them being an anonymous person. I'm not going to appreciate you having no huevos, having no gumption, having no mastery of yourself, no bravery, and you're using a fake name so you can be a troll. I'm not going to give you any kind of juice. I will say thank you to anybody that's using their real name. Why? Because I appreciate you being a reputable person. Keep your promises. Say what you're going to do and do it. That's an AA thing. Keep your promises. Say what you're going to do, then go do it. When people say they're going to be at 7 and they arrive at 7:30, I know they're a wanker. If you can't be a correlation between what you say and what you do, you're a dysfunctional person. Keep your promises. This is what your children want. Number 14, learn to show cheerfulness even when you don't feel it. That's why I say thank the good guys, or life is good. Even when I don't feel it, I'm going to say it. And I say, if you're really depressed, just keep repeating it until you're happy. Life is good. Number 15, remember that overnight success usually takes 15 years. I would always say 11 years. 11 years is when you finally come into your stride in a business. 16, leave everything better than you found it. I'm always trying to do this. I have not been able to succeed in leaving my room clean. I always leave it a little messier. I am trying to obey that speaker that gives that thing at like West Point or something, talking about make your bed. Come up with many strategies. Number 17, remember that winners do what losers don't want to do. Remember, winners do what losers don't want to do. Winners are going to live within their means or try their best to do whatever they can. They try to say hello to everybody. They try to do what others don't do. Number 18, when you arrive at your job in the morning, let the first thing you say brighten everyone's day. So when I walk into a restaurant, I say, hola, señorita, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué haciendo? ¿Dónde vas? I'm trying to give energy to the thing. The job of meeting a depressed person is not to go to become depressed with them. The job of meeting a depressed person is always to bring them up. And when you're depressed and somebody's real happy, your job is to go up with them. It's never to go down, okay? And when people start out their conversation with talking about Joe Biden or Donald Trump or something, I just know they're a depressed person. Don't rain on other people's parade. This is really hard for me because people want me to be proud of doing something stupid, and then they don't have any consequences, and then they become irrational. I'm not going to say anything if you're doing something stupid. I won't attack people in person. Last year, I was around these 10 people, and they were doing so many stupid things, and I had to hide. I moved up into San Solala just to get away from them. Don't waste an opportunity to tell someone you love them. I was telling my sister last night, I love her. I love my sister Bambi, April, Jerry, Candy. I love my friend Jeff Creven. Jeff, I shouldn't say his last name. Okay, I love people. I love people. I'll say that again. I absolutely love people. They are the magic of life. If you don't love people, I don't know. What are you going to do? Go to Mars? 21. Keep some things to yourself and don't promote havoc by backstabbing people you love. Very important. Very hard to sometimes discuss problems without people thinking you're backstabbing them. Number 22, and I added this today. Don't be proud you did exactly the life that 99% of people did. Do not be proud you did the exact life that 99% of people did. And what did they do? They went to work every day for 30 years. They bought a house. They bought a car. 50% got angry at their wife and got divorced. Their husband, they divorced somebody. This is how to be normal. Don't be normal. Life is good, but only if you can aspire to be an expert at something where you have something that defines you other than your boss defining who you are, okay? I'm a traveler. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a real estate broker. I had a license to teach real estate. I'm an internet expert. I'm very good at writing books. I've written 5 books. I'm almost going to be on my 6th book. I'm the greatest at opening a conversation there is. I can open a conversation with almost the most evil person. Some of these women here are really a challenge though. I got one girl that keeps walking around barefoot. I said, hey, you got shoes on today? She refuses to reply. I call it breaking the face. When I finally make her laugh and break her face. But I aspire to inspire you to become an expert. I'm Andy Lee Graham. Proud of my name, proud of my family, proud of who I am. I have always, for the last 37 years, got up every morning and done the right thing. I pray with each movement that I make that I don't hurt anybody. Okay, I got all this information at the bottom of this link. This link will be in how to contact me, my telephone number, and all that stuff. I still need to come up with a way to earn another $350 a month. But I'm here in paradise, and you're working. So think about that. And why am I in paradise? Is because I can live within my means and I can live economically. And I only spend money on what I need, not on what I want. I don't pray for desires. I pray to God that He gives me what is needed. Do your best. Mom used to get really mad at me. I said, Mom, what do you want me to say? I'm not God. I can only say, do whatever you think's best. To me, that's all the prayer you need. Anything more than that's just selfishness, right? Okay, hit that subscribe button. And I'm not probably going to be able to go to Cuba because I don't think I have enough money. And I really would need to get about $600 a month, and I just can't come up with it. I'm looking at Cameroon. The cost of living there seems cheap, and I can make about a 2-year trip. I'm going to have to go really slow and live about 2 months in each country, 2 or 3 months. But I can probably get up to 130 countries. And when Joe Rogan and me have a conversation, I can say, I lived my life. I want you to live your life. Do what you think defines who you are. Construct a life that makes you have a life with no regrets. When Henry David Thoreau died, or was ready to die, they asked him if he was at peace with God. He said, I never knew us to argue. That's how I want everybody to do it. When you know right from wrong, you don't argue with God. Okay. Whether He exists or doesn't exist is not important. What is important is that you're proud of who you are today. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Bye. I'm going to get on this live thing. I'm going live every day about 9 o'clock New York City time, Eastern Standard Time. Hit that subscribe button and make me rich, or at least make me make another $600 so I can go to Cuba.